Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be ranking all of my Charlotte Tilbury face palettes. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Okay, so I have in total 5 products from Charlotte Tilbury that we're going to be talking about today. Coming in at number 5, and the only one that's really not necessarily a palette, but I felt it should be included, is the 5-minute makeup kit. And this one is in Date Night. So I believe these are still available on her website. I did not like this. So this retails for $75 US, 95 Canadian, which is the exact same as her other full face palettes. It just looks like this. It flips open. You do get a mirror up here, and inside you get an eyeshadow stick, a blush, and a highlighter stick. So first of all, there's no actual lid on these products. You just have to kind of pull them out, and they are stuck in there pretty good. So it can be a bit frustrating to get them out. The eyeshadow stick I liked, but I found it creased on me really badly. She did have a few different kits. I felt that they all looked pretty similar for the most part. This is the blush stick. This is also supposed to be a lipstick. It reminds me the most of Pillow Talk, quite honestly. I think it looks really pretty on the lips. It's not my favorite as a blush. I just found it a little bit challenging to blend out, and when I did get it blended out, I just felt like it kind of blended away really quickly. And the highlighter stick. This one was actually my favorite. The highlighter stick was my favorite of the whole kit. I have used this little set to make a really quick makeup look, and I really liked what I came out with. But overall, I just don't reach for it that much. Again, these are teeny tiny little products. You get the littlest amount of product. The kit is convenient, but I just feel like there are much better options out there if you're looking for a really quick makeup look, as we will see later on in this ranking. So of all the things Charlotte Tilbury's released, this is probably among my least favorite. It's not awful. It's just really not worth the high price tag. Coming in at number 4 is a product that was actually re-released, but I just picked it up this past spring when it came out. This is the Lovegasm face palette in Lovegasm. So I understand she released these a few years ago in 2 different palettes. There was one for lighter skin tones, there was one for deeper skin tones. This is the one for deeper skin tones. So I was definitely not the target audience for this. However, I really wanted to pick it up anyway, and I think it's beautiful. I do think that some of her baked products would work a lot better with a natural hair brush, and synthetic brushes just don't tend to pick up nearly as much product. And if I want my synthetic brushes to do so, I kind of need to go in with a denser brush. And that's just been my experience with her products. So I can make the bronzer work for me. Again, I just use a fluffy synthetic brush and the bronzer works fine. The blushes are okay. The Multi-Glow blush up here is definitely a little bit too much on my skin. This one is lighter than you might think, and it comes off a lot more peachy and very glowy, so it does work a lot better for me. The highlight is definitely too deep for my skin tone, so for that reason this one is ranking lower. It is my own fault. I didn't realize that. I knew this was a re-release, but I really didn't realize that this is the one for more deeper skin tones. So I just grabbed it anyway. That's my fault. However, I do still get use out of it. Again, I can use the bronzer, the blush. I can use this one on my eyes, and I can use this one if I go in with a light hand. It's just not the one I reach for the most for that reason, but I do still think it's very beautiful. Coming in at number 4 is the Lovegasm face palette, and this one is a little bit harder to show you because mine is broken. So mine just looks like this, and this is the one where I really got to know her more baked formulas, in that the synthetic brushes really don't pick up as much pigment, so I can make these work for me really well. I do like how this one looks on my skin. This one is really more of a blush topper than just a blush, but I do think it's really pretty. I do still love this product. I was really sad when I dropped it, but overall I think this one is really pretty. It just doesn't excite me the way the top 2 do, but I do think this is one of her best face palettes in my opinion. For me, this does work very well, and I really do love this one. My top two were actually a bit challenging to decide between because I have loved them both so much, and if you look at the pans, you can really tell. But at number two, I decided to put the Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette. This is one of her very best. So this is one of my very favorites. You get a blush, a super glow, a multi glow, and a super blush. So this one she actually did release two face palettes. There was one for fair to medium and one for medium to deep. So this one is of course the fair to medium, and I love this one. I have used this blush in particular so much that I'm starting to lose the Pillow Talk embossment, and the highlighter over here is also one of my very favorites. These are both so flattering on my skin tone. I love reaching for these. I think this is such a beautiful palette. I don't get the most use out of this bottom blush. It's just a little bit more bold than I typically go for. However, it does still look really nice on my skin tone. This one does work out to be more of a blush topper for me, which I don't mind. It just kind of gives some variety to these two blushes, but I love this face palette so much. Like I said, I get the most use out of the top two, which is why I decided not to put this one in at number one. But this is definitely an absolute favorite of mine in my entire collection, not just my Charlotte Tilbury, in my entire collection. And coming in at number one is the Instant Look of Love in a palette in Pretty Blushed Beauty. So she released these a couple of years ago. This was another situation where she released one for more fair skin tones and one for deeper skin tones. So this one is the lighter of the two. And I have absolutely loved this palette. I don't know if you can tell on camera, that highlight is very close to having pan in it. This was one of the first of her palettes to actually have her face powder in here as well, which was really exciting because it really did just give this a really full look. I absolutely love this. So you get a bronzer, her face powder, a blush, a highlighter, and then 3 eyeshadows. The highlighter is the same as the one that is in her Film Star Bronze and Glow. The bronzer as well. The blush is really pretty. It is a bit of a shimmery blush. The face powder is perfect, and I believe this ends up being shade 2 in her range. The powder that I have is shade 1, so this one is a shade up. So it is a little bit deeper than I would like, so I really wouldn't set my under eyes with this. But overall, I love this. I love the look I get with these 3 shadows here. They're so pretty. This sparkly shadow is gorgeous. So pretty, so easy to work with. And with the addition of the bronzer, I feel like I can really create a full look if I'm looking for something that's a bit lighter of a transition, because we get a matte, a satin, and a shimmer. Adding this one in gives me a really nice transition. I absolutely love this one. This has to be one of my favorites. I've been dying for her to come out with more of these full face palettes because they're some of my absolute favorite face palettes that she releases, and I'm definitely dying for more. So I'm hoping she's going to come out with more of these soon. But that is it. Those are my 5 Charlotte Tilbury face palettes. Let me know down below if you have any of these. What is your favorite face palette from Charlotte Tilbury? I love hearing from you guys so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!